Hello, what's going on, guys? How are we doing? We are going to make a veto playbook. I am very interested to see what we can come up with. And before we get into that, I just kind of want to talk about how to pick a map to maybe target with veto. So kind of just going through the process of like what would I look at if I was being like, can we put this guy into a comp that makes sense? And sort of like, what can we attack about a map that maybe fits Veto's style? So the first things that I kind of want to look at are his abilities. Like, how do the abilities interact with the map? And so what I like to do is I like to get in a custom lobby and just kind of run around and try stuff out. And then I also like to think about things on Valiplant. So for example, like with an agent like Omen, one of the things that I would want to do, generally speaking, is just kind of like put the paranoia in different places. Like where it makes sense, where can paranoia get value, right? Does it fit the lanes well? Does it seem like there's good options for being able to use it during the rounds, that type of stuff? And it's obviously a little bit harder to do that with Veto, but I think one of the things that you might want to look at with this character is just sort of like the trip placements. Like, can the trip hold the choke points? Yes, it's big enough. Yeah, it'll fit basically anywhere on the map to hold choke points, which is good. So that's pretty easy enough. Obviously, the projectile, it's not exactly Viper Orb right now because there's a bug, but it is Viper's Orb, or it's supposed to be Viper's Orb. So a lot of people play Viper on this map, so you don't really have to go learn a ton of new lineups necessarily. You'll have to learn some, but you could potentially steal some Viper Orb lineups to use the trip. Like, let's say in middle, for example, instead of doing the Viper Orb for middle, maybe you just want to throw the trip. You could use the exact same lineup for the trip that you use for your Viper Orb. Maybe the bigger thing with Veto is the teleports. I have been sort of likening the Veto teleports to Omen teleports in terms of how they're used. And so I think that you can kind of like look at situations where you might be able to use the Veto teleport kind of like an Omen teleport, whether it's to like cross middle, whether it's to go like into garage. Omen teleports here as part of a default. It's obviously a little bit slower, so maybe there are some ways that this could be punished. You could potentially use your teleport to get out on site if you wanted to skip this sight line and you had cleared the rest of site. You could potentially teleport up ramps if you had cleared ramps. So there's definitely different ways that you could use the teleport, kind of like an Omen teleport. And then another thing that you might want to do is just kind of look at the general radius of the teleport. So where can we play to use this ability, right? So one thing that I've definitely been trying out a little bit is putting a teleport here and then helping my team get out here by using the interceptor to counter like a sky flash coming down from ramps or something like that. So basically using my interceptor as part of the default, scaling up with my team, trading if necessary. And then once we're like safely into ramps area, boom, take the teleport middle and then go into like the flank. And so I think stuff like that can be very valuable. And then the last thing, and I think this is sort of like a Veto specific thing that you should really consider, is what can the interceptor eat? Like what are the comps that are consistently being played on the map? And is there any specific utility that the interceptor is particularly good against? So if we just go to, let's say, run it back, or even maybe just look at like recent tournaments that have been played. Let's look at like Soup Game Changers Championship and Project Blender. And we can just look at like the pick rates on Split. The reason that I'm picking Split, and all this is going to end up with the conclusion of coming to Split to make a veto comp. But like if we just look at, let's say, once these load, we just look at Split, right? Fade is being played a lot. Yoru is being played a lot. Viper is the most played agent aside from Raze. Veto is very good against Raze. Veto is also pretty good against Viper. Again, Split, Viper 95% pick rate at Championship Soul. Fade 60% pick rate. Raze 73% pick rate. Sky, like all of these agents, Sage, these are all agents that Veto is good against. Again, looking at Soup Valorant League, got tons of Yoru, tons of Viper, tons of Fade, tons of Raze. So all of these agents seem like pretty good targets for Veto. And so that's one of the reasons that I wanted to try Veto on Split, is because if you just kind of think about, let's say, if we're just looking at the defense side of things, right? If we're playing defense, one of the most common play patterns right now is Vipers over here. You've got your Viper wall like this. And then the Viper orb goes here, right? Now, what if you could just kill this Viper orb every round? What if you could just kill this Viper orb every round, right? Now, what does Viper do? Right? So if Viper's main value is the ramp pressure stuff, like this, and you could instantly counter this every round, seems pretty good, right? Because if you place your interceptor off of the barrier right here, and the Viper orb is flying, boom, interceptor goes on, deletes the orb. Now what does Viper do? Now, if Viper wants to pressure ramps, yes, they can still put up the wall to create the pressure like this, but you can just post somebody here, right? Now the Viper's in trouble potentially because you can't block this. And then, you know, another thing that some people have been doing is this Viper orb, right? There's like a big long lineup over the top. This is actually a very common place for the interceptor to be placed, is above the door here anyway. So this completely invalidates this Viper orb lineup, right? This whole strategy of like the Viper orb going here completely doesn't work anymore. What about the Fnatic orb, right? Fnatic throws their orb from over here, something like that. It lands like this, creates a double lurk opportunity in middle. And if you're Veto, you can just put your interceptor, you can start B heaven, put your interceptor right here, boom, interceptor. Can't even be broken by the other team. You just wait for the orb to start falling, or like you ante the timing window, turn on the interceptor, eats the orb. All right, Viper down a piece of utility. So again, I think against the specifically against like the most common agents on Split, we're talking Sky, we're talking Raze, we're talking Fade, talking Viper, Yoru, Sage. All of these agents get rolled by Veto. Like all of these get completely rolled by Veto. So that's kind of why I wanted to start with Split as potentially our map to try and make a Veto comp. So let's build our comp then. We're gonna have Veto in it, and I mean, I'm still of the opinion that Viper, either Viper or Cypher, is like pretty important. There are ways to get around playing either of those, but the ramp pressure is such a huge part of the game on this map that having the wall is really, really valuable. Obviously Viper is just very good on defense as well. So let's go ahead and just throw Viper in. Let's not try to change too much, but let's change a little bit. So I'll keep the Viper in there, and we're gonna run a double smokes comp because I think double smokes is very good on this map. Now we could obviously go with Omen if we wanted to, but since we have a Veto that kind of has like some Omen qualities to him as far as like his teleports and stuff like that, you know, the paranoia, choke point, denial play. You can kind of do that with other agents as well. And we may need to change some play style a bit around to kind of make up for this, but I'm going to avoid playing Omen on this map. We could also play an Astra, but I don't know if I want to play Astra. We'll think about this because we also have the ability to play Veto as the lurk, right? Especially because this map is kind of small. Almost every single time on this map, you are going to be able to scale in with your team with the interceptor and then teleport to be the lurk if you want to be. And so I think that we're going to avoid playing the Astra as well. So there was a guy on Twitter who made a certain Veto playbook for Split. It was 5 tweets. Yeah, you can send the link. I'm going to make my own shit, but I'll definitely take a look at it. So one agent that I've been pretty interested in playing on this map for a long time is actually Harbor. And I know that might sound kind of crazy, but I'm going to try out a Harbor Veto Viper comp, with Harbor being my second smokes. Now, Harbor is definitely a pack agent. Veto can be a pack agent. Can also be a lurk, double lurk with Viper, that type of thing. But we definitely need some more sort of like pack agents. We need people who are going to be running in, fighting together. And with the double smoke, we definitely need probably some sort of flash, potentially. So our flash agents are Yoru as an option, Sky as an option, KO as an option, Gecko as an option. My Val plant is pretty. What's the code for the colors? Man, this is premium stuff, man. You want me to give away my secrets? Here you go. Okay. Flashes. Phoenix probably not going to work too well. You know, I guess he could, but I don't really think I'm on the Phoenix train for this map. But yeah, so probably one of these agents needs to be played. We obviously got our initiator spot, and then we've got our duelist spot. And I think that I want my initiator to be the flash guy. So let's go ahead and put our initiator as Sky. I'm pretty positive on Sky right now. Actually, let me think about this for a second. Do I want it to be Sky or do I want it to be KO? I guess I kind of need it to be Sky just because if we're playing double smokes, I want a drone and I want info. I want heavy info from my initiator. So yeah, let's make it Sky. Breach? No, not Breach. Ah, yeah, Breach. Breach is a flashing agent. You are correct. But I don't think Breach fits what we're trying to do here. I think if we're gonna play Breach, I would rather play like a Breach Cypher so we can cam trap and stuff like that. I think with this comp, we're looking at a lot more sort of like early space control. And I think to that end, we probably are going to... I think our duelist options are really like basically just Yoru, maybe Waylay, and who else? I guess it could be Raze still. Let me think about this for a second. me think about this for a second. Thank you, 9CB. Appreciate it. It's nice to be out here doing some stuff. It is kind of nice to not have to like keep my thoughts about the game inside. At this point, I can just put stuff out there, and then people can use it if they want, or whatever. Okay. What do we think, chat? Do we want the Raise? Do we want the Yoru? I mean, we kind of have our Opper potentially in Veto, so we don't necessarily need the Yoru to be the Opper. So we could have a more sort of like aggressive fighting duelist. We've got verticality from the Veto. We have flashes from the sky. Let me think about this. Yoru synergy with Harbor. Yeah, it's definitely there to some extent. I do think that the Omen pairs better with the Yoru potentially, though. Let's see. If we're coming out here and we want mid control, we flash, scale. I think I probably just want to go with the Raise. And the reason for wanting to go with the Raise is just Raise is very good on this map. It's always been good on this map. I know it's good. It doesn't change things too much. I don't want to make a comp that's like too weird, you know? And then you also get the potential to do like Raise Veto trap plays, potentially, where you seize them and nade them. So it's kind of like having a fade on your team for like defensive stuff. Also, I feel like with the Yoru ult, you probably would want a bit more of like an aggro scaling comp. So yeah, let's just go with this for now. Cool. All right. So if we start with this comp, one of the first things that we want to just think about is the map attack or defensive sided? At Suit Valorant League, split was 51% attack, 49% defense. Champion Soul, it was 52% defense, 48% attack. And Project Blender, been 50-50. Now, if we actually look at the comps that are played on split, I think we're going to see a lot of double duelist. Here's Breach Waylay, double smokes. Here's Raise Yoru, double duelist. Raise Yoru, double duelist. This one is Raise Solo Duelist. Another Yoru Raise double duelist. Here is your Waylay double duelist. Here's the Solo Waylay. Here is Raise Neon double duelist. Here is Waylay Raise double duelist. So lots of double duelists being played. Why Harbor instead of Omen or Astra? Because I like Harbor. Because I like Harbor. And I think he's got some good value on this map. What's up, Aditya? How are you? I also think that Harbor is pretty good against double duelist. I mean, I think Omen is decent against double duelist too, but I think Harbor has the ability to potentially be even better against double duelist just because of the slows on his smoke and the way that you can react with him. You know, I don't know if that's entirely true, but I kind of just want to make a comp with a Harbor and a Veto in it for fun. So that's what we're going to do. Well, if this map is playing 50-50, but the meta is primarily double duelist, I think we can kind of conclude that it's a little bit defensive sided. Which means that we should probably try to solve attack first. This is kind of how I approach like building out a playbook on a map, is I try to solve the harder side first. And so that's what we're gonna do. So what do we need? We need an A default, we need a mid default, we need a B default. We need execs for A and B. And then we kind of need to build out from there. So let's just go ahead and start with an A default. And actually, let me just do this. Go new folder, stream comp. Okay. We'll say A. This is how I usually do stuff. Attack A default. So for an A default, what are our priorities? We want to get orb control. We want to get ramp control. Potentially insert somebody. We want to create pressure here. Force either a rotation through middle or through CT from B heaven, probably. And to do that, we're going to use our Viper wall as normal. And, you know, I guess if they're not playing a veto, we'll just kind of do our standard ramp control with the orb. I think that's fine. Although, actually, if it's an A default, who do we want here on our A default? Our plan is to get up ramp. I think on our A default, I actually want the veto to raise the sky and the harbor to be here. Let me think about this. We put the Viper in middle. I want some sort of presence outside of B. If I want to insert somebody, it could be the raise, but I think it makes more sense for it to be the veto. Astra Viper, I think, is ideal core against double duelists for their ability to separate the pack, and their divers with Molly suck. The thing about Astra Viper is that it's fucking dog on retake. I mean, it's not terrible on retake, but it's not great on retake. So if you don't guess correctly and you're playing retake with Astra, I think you're pretty unhappy. Obviously, with Astra, you can globally util, which is helpful. But retake-wise, I think I would prefer Harbor retake-wise, if we're just being totally honest. And I think that this comp is actually pretty nice for retake. Okay, so just thinking about pathing-wise, round starts, you run over here, you wall for your team. We're going to hold the orb because we have 2 smokes, and we're taking A control. So let's do it like this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to put the teleport here. Maybe we'll even just do the Chronicle orb, like the Fanatic orb. Do this. And then this guy can kind of come over here. This might be a little bit of a convoluted default, but let's think about it for a sec. So yeah, we're gonna sky flash around the corner. Raze is gonna satchel, take ramp. I guess maybe Harbor is just our guy at B. Because we have the ability to globally smoke if we need to with Cove. So if we do get the opportunity to speed, then we can always smoke for our team this way. So maybe we just hold this and we'll pocket the Viper Orb so that if we can actually get onto site, we'll just use the Viper Orb to hold screens, I think. I think I like that better. What's up, Gobsy? Yeah, okay. Let's do this. We'll put teleport there at start of round. We'll come out. We'll scale together. Veto will be our second guy in. Sky will come up, get orb. I think we want to farm orb on Sky or Raze most of the time, but Raze is satcheling up. So we'll do this. Veto comes up. Interceptors at the top of ramp in case they come try and re-clear. And then this is our A control. If they're fighting us here, Arbor can come take this timing. But for now, he's just going to be holding like this. What's up, Kip? How are you? Is it Quip or Kip? I've never known. Yeah, okay. So we'll double take ramp and we'll insert the Veto. Veto is going to get inserted. I think if we put this perfectly, we should be able to tuck behind this box and still have a teleport out. I guess we could just go like full hog and go here, but does this get us any? Ooh, that actually gets us potentially. I need to check this in game. Does that actually get us all the way up to the wall there? Because if that does, that's fucking insane. Isn't the Viper smoke better on B main, the DRX one? I don't know. I'm not as big a fan of that smoke. I think it's fine sometimes on certain comps, but I'm not entirely sold that it's like the optimal smoke.
Nothing but greatness.
Okay, let's see. Does this actually reach as far as I think it does?
My ult is ready.
See how accurate Valor Plant is. Ooh, it's not accurate. That is unfortunate. Because if we could fully tuck here, that would be insane. We could fully get to this spot and still teleport. How close can we be? Okay, I mean, that's not bad, honestly. You have to take like one step. I think I might be able to get down with that. Otherwise, it's here, right? And we can get up to this box and hide and still... we still have to take a little bit of a step. Yeah, I think I prefer this. Being able to walk all the way up here, behind the Viper wall, tuck. And then if they start to re-clear, you got your interceptor. Where do we want to put our interceptor? Okay, we scale up here with our Raze. We're fighting in. And then I guess we could probably just put our interceptor like that. That would be kind of nasty. How far can we throw this? If they come dog or prowler, they have to like come all the way out here to see it. I like that.
Watch it expire.
I'm pro holding orb for anti-retakes. See, that's the thing is, I feel like the Viper orb, like I feel like you can be a little bit more creative with the Viper Orb now, just because you only get to use it once, right? So like using the Viper Orb like this is obviously fine when you can pick it back up once you have ramp control. But since you can't pick it back up, if you like lurk up here, you essentially just have a dead piece of utility now, right? Because you kind of like, I guess it kind of helps if they're trying to retake through this, but it's not as good as it could be. I kind of like the, I'm sort of like a Munchkin disciple as far as like how I think about the Viper Orb these days, which is that the best value that you can get out of this on attack is like stopping the retake. And so if you can just pocket the orb, you get onto site, and then you can fully stop them from getting out of the screens choke because you've got Molly and orb, then your team can just focus all of their attention like here and here, which is really strong. So I feel like I kind of just want to pocket the orb, and then sometimes we can use it to go here. Sometimes we can do this one. Sometimes we can do this one. But instead of just making it like a standard part of the default, because it's a single piece of utility now, and I don't want it to be completely useless like 80% of the time, I think that it's probably fine to pocket the orb. So yeah, let's do this. We've got our, where the fuck am I? We've got our teleport here. We take this with Raze. And just to make sure, it's been a while since I played Sky on this map. I just want to make sure you can fully tuck the flash.
I got yous, okay?
Okay, yeah, the flash is fine. Come out, get orb. We can have 3 people ramp if we want. If we want to pressure further, and obviously come up, dog through for the raise. Check there. Check a bunch of space. If we want to scale, we can. Flash out. Come fight. So we have that option, or we can just deposit the veto, and then we can go back to middle, and middle will be held by Harbor. If I was trialing a player for a Challenger / Ascension team, what would I be looking for? I mean, I guess it depends on my team, right? Are you just saying, like, if I was building a team from scratch, and I was trying to put together a tier 2 team that could compete for Ascension? I mean, I would probably start with looking for either, like, an incredibly talented duelist, an incredibly talented initiator player, or an IGL, I think, would be the 3 things that I would start at. And I'd be looking for specifically like really good communication and probably flexibility as a player. Those are like the 2 most important things to me, I think. I have 4 people and I want 1 more initiator. Then yeah, I would say like full mastery and understanding of like utility cycling, when to use your shit, extremely good work ethic, and like communication is the most important thing as an initiator. You need to be extremely good with communicating stuff. So what I mean by that is like, okay, let's say you were part of this default. You're playing Sky on this map. So obviously you have to have Sky agent mastery. You say, okay, Rez, I'm flashing for you. I'm tucking it right? Flashing now, right? Your comms have to be extremely on point. Say, Rez, I'm scaling with you. Take space. I'll trade you. You want me to dog for you? Yes, you do. Okay, hold on. I'm coming. I'm scaling. Where do you want me to check? I'm gonna check vents. Okay, nobody vents. Okay, I'm checking rafters. Nobody rafters. All right, I'm gonna dive CT. Nothing CT. Okay, you're safe to go. Do you want me to leave you or come with you? And then the Rays can tell you what to do. Okay, guys, I'm gonna flash sight. Flashing in 3, 2, 1. Pop. Oh, I flashed my teammates. You're off the team. Basically, your communication as an initiator has to be like the most important part of your game, in my opinion. Like, yes, you do need to be able to shoot. Yes, you need to be able to throw utility, but your comms have to be like insanely good. Insanely good. Okay, where were we? We're doing our default. So a defaults. I think we're starting with Harbor. Harbor can be on this line, I suppose, or he has the ability to come over here and he can hold his smoke. Yeah, so I think, I think Harbor can hold this line, or he could potentially Storm Surge this and take this space. I think both are fine. What's the timing like on Storm Surge, actually?
Anyone dehydrated? Need a quick rinse? Just checking. Rounding sight.
So yeah, somebody could peek you, but they're gonna get fucked if they do. So I think that's okay.
Rounding sight.
As long as you get it around the corner. Yeah, you can come up and take this space. They're gonna smoke this off. You can create pressure. How about Viper putting Genji wall, then going B? Remind me what the Genji wall is. Then your team comes back to middle. We've got a smoke for this. They can't spam us. Yeah, so I think this is kind of what I want to do. Storm Surge there, or optional. This is optional. And then you can either take the space or come to middle. We're gonna have this happen. If we don't think that we're gonna go here, then we can come this way. Yeah, all right, let's go phase 2 here. In phase 2, we deposit the veto. And let's see. Phase 2, let's say aggro option would be Sky scales up, dogs us through, raise, veto, Harbor is going to come across like this. Probably go. Ooh, do we want to cove here? No, I don't think so. I think we just want to cove maybe here or here. Maybe we cove like this. Skydog through, cove like this. Harbor can lurk. Scale. Viper comes here. And then we're going to hit the A site. So to do that, we want Veto to come up. And I think we want to trip here probably. We can either trip here or you can trip here. If we have a lurk, probably tripping here makes the most sense. Let me look at something with Harbor. Okay, so if I'm here, I smoke all the way there. Is that cover? Kind of sick. from spawn to divide a ramp and cross site, which they use against EDG. I'm not, again, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. I guess we could also just trip here. And then Harbor can use this as a timing, maybe. That might make the most sense. Viper is going to smoke here. And we're going to go 3 into the site, 1 from here. Recall this. And, ooh, okay, so, we want to get real crazy with it.
Take a moment to collect yourselves.
Once we get up
Scattered minds
here,
make simple mistakes. Get it back.
so we scale up. And you can just dump that in there if you want to get information. They're better. I bet we can get this in like a crazy spot though. Can you get it on this? Any ledge? No ledge?
There.
You could just do that, right? That won't trigger until people are like... Ooh, that might not trigger at all, actually. So maybe we don't do that. Probably you just put this right here. Makes the most sense. And then you have 1 teleport left. You can watch this initially. Second flash, you can teleport in with your team, scale into the site. I don't necessarily mind that. What's up, Janak? How are you? You could also just dump your second teleport here, and then you can just scale with your team. Shoot down into the site, clear this. You can play rafters, you can play here. Oh, they're retaking heaven. What do we do? Come join my team and fight. Ooh, that's not a good spot. Maybe we just leave the teleport there, because you can do the same thing. Fight. Clear. Play here. Fight. Okay, they're coming heaven again. Yeah, I think I like that a lot, actually. So we'll leave our second teleport here. And we'll scale into site like that. I don't need thumbnails, thank you though. Okay, and then third, we go back to 1. Go to 3. We've got the middle pivot option. So if we're gonna go middle instead, delete all of this. We're gonna deposit Veto here. He's still gonna have his interceptor up. Interceptor. I think maybe if we're gonna deposit Veto, maybe it makes more sense to just trip behind us like this, so we don't get wrapped. Viper's gonna come middle. Sky's gonna come middle. Raze is gonna come middle. Harbor's gonna stay here, I think. We might even keep him in this spot, potentially. And then we're gonna come middle. And we're gonna dog up the harbor cove. So the cove can either go here or here. Say option A. Oops. Option A or B. And then, because we didn't aggro the dog, we can take the dog either direction. Boom. Oops. This. Boom or boom. Raise follows the dog. Viper scales as well. Viper can re-up the smoke if we want to. Harbor is, or Veto is deposited. And then now, once we get mid control, and Harbor can also obviously join them if he wants to, but I think having him in B main makes more sense. No, I'm good. I don't need you advertising here. Thanks, though. Amix, do you have like a link that I can look at? Because I can't picture what you're talking about. All right, so let's do this. Veto plays top ramp. Trips behind. Once we get mid control, then we can either split into A or split into B. If we go B, how does Harbor work? The YouTube link. Oh, I didn't see a link. Maybe I'm trolling. I might have missed the link, or maybe the links are not allowed. I don't know. Okay. Let me go back to Harbor here. Okay, if I'm in B, I'm holding B space. Playing here.
It's now or never.
My team wants to go B. Ooh, I might be fucking my team a little bit. Now that I'm thinking about it. I might be fucking my team a little bit. What if we do like... Not that. Is there any way for me to throw this low and then go high? Oh, Jesus. What did I just do? So... So if I start like this, I want it low, and then I want it to go high. Is that possible? It is possible. Is it good? And then you can just jump over so you don't get slowed. Is that the most troll thing you've ever seen, or no? This is like some advanced harbor tech. You're gonna throw it low for the first little bit, and then you're gonna yank it high so it blocks what you want, but give yourself the ability to jump over it so nobody gets slowed. I mean, it's pretty it's pretty brain dead. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty ridiculous. Ease of execution, absolutely no pro player is gonna do this. But it does work. No slows. You saying you should bring the harbor with the pack? Yeah, maybe. I mean, Harbor's definitely a pack character. What's the timing like?
My ultimate is ready. They will die. Hopeless and afraid.
What's up, Kush? How are you? Ooh, the timing is not great. I also don't think I would want to ask my Viper to do that every single round, because that would be really annoying. But I want my veto to be the deposit on A if we're defaulting A. Alright. Let's not overthink this. This is just an A default. This is not something we're going to run every single round. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine. We could also instead... No. Okay, whatever. Middle pivot option. This is good. Yeah, no, this is fine. Because also, I think a lot of people will interpret... They'll interpret the Harbor as a pack character. And so if you show the Harbor B, it kind of disguises when you do actually just want to be exec and when the Harbor is with the pack. So I think it's fine to occasionally not have the Harbor with the pack because it kind of disguises everything else. A lot of times he is going to be with the pack. So I think I'm good with this actually. Yeah. Okay, we'll save this. Yeah, this is sort of just like a general framework that we can use. Oh, forgot to pause. Who do you think pulled the veto off the most? Honestly, I haven't really liked most of the veto stuff that I've seen, which is one of the reasons I'm making this. I think there's been some okay stuff with veto from Vitality, from T1, and from Team Liquid Game Changers, Team Liquid Brazil. But I think almost every other veto that I've seen has been like pretty bad. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that all of those teams was doing was also kind of bad. Like there's too much like chamber. There's too much chamber play being used with veto, and I don't think that veto is a chamber. Okay, so we've got our A default with a couple different options. Let's take our A default and let's turn it into an A hit. So we've got A hit. And if we're going to A hit, we are going to basically insta pop, I think. So that means Harbor's going to be with us. That means Viper will also, I mean, everybody's just going to be with us. We're just going to 5-0 hit. And we have our veto. Okay, so if we're going to do this, I think what we'll probably do is, yeah, we'll go like this. We'll put veto, insta teleport. Maybe if we actually want veto to teleport with us. Let's think about this. How do you transition into a fast A exec if that's what you decide you want to do from Harbor on the other side of the map? Are you fully reliant on phase 2 heaven control and exec phase 3? What map do I think Veto is best to use on? I think he's really good on Abyss. I think he's quite good on Bind. And I think he is pretty good on Pearl, Split. I think he's pretty good on most maps, honestly. Like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I think kind of what you want to start thinking about with Veto is like, what agents is he really good against, and are those agents being played a lot on the map? And if so, I think it's a really good opportunity to play Veto. So for example, like the agents that I would really target him against are like the Skies, the Geckos, the Fades, the Vipers, the Raises. I think he's insanely good against all of those agents. And so if you've got a map where people are playing a lot of Viper and Fade and Raise, I mean, we're talking Bind, we're talking Split, really good on those maps. How viable do you think his TP is to use a bit more aggressive, like Omen teleports? I think it's usable. It's not something you should be trying to do consistently, but like this is what I'm trying to figure out right now. So if we're A hitting right now, we're insta A hitting. What's the best use of his teleport? Barrier goes down. We could throw a teleport here and just scale and then come onto site with our team and just trade it out, right? And then if we need to reinforce ramps, then we have like a bailout. So we might just want to throw this at the beginning of the round. Come out here. Maybe we even have a lineup, honestly. Let's see. Round starts. I don't know what the lineup is for the Viper Orb here, but it's going to be something like this, maybe. Oh, not that. Something like this. Teleport. Scale with the team. Interceptor on. And then the question is, what do we do with our second teleport? We could probably throw it up here as we're scaling in and get onto rafters as an option. We can probably... we sneak it into this corner here. Looking forward to using it next year. Just took a 1 month break. Wait, Amix, what team are you coaching now? I thought you were with Secret. No. You were with Secret, right? What team are you on now? I can't remember. I definitely we used to scrim you guys. I can't remember what team it was. I feel like this teleport is too inconsistent. So yeah, you probably come out here. I do think the Rafters teleport is decent. You could also, like, this, let's say this is smoked. This is smoked. You could also just throw it like here. But then you have to worry about this. But if you throw the lineup, then playing in this spot is like not bad. You're with Naus. Oh yeah, dude, you guys were sick, man. I'm sad that you guys didn't ascend. You guys looked really good at Ascension. I really enjoyed screaming against you guys this year. I thought you were some of the best practice that we had all year. So I got to give you props. You guys had like a very good team. You could also potentially, like, if you think they're on site, you could potentially teleport across and then be in this kind of weird spot where you could collapse here. I feel like there's definitely some uses for this teleport. You could also potentially come out, counter util, throw your teleport to default. How tucked am I on this? I mean, this is not bad either. Like, if they're tucked in elbow, teleporting here could be kind of good. I feel like the exec stuff with Veto is actually not bad. Let's think about this. Yeah, I think the first thing you're gonna do is throw this. You're gonna place this teleport. You're gonna scale out here, throw the interceptor, throw your teleport, teleport on the site with the sky flash, scale in, shoot. Okay, they're coming out heaven. Oh wait, we need to help. We need to help ramps. Teleport back here. You can fight with your team. I think that's actually pretty solid util. You just have to get the timing right for everything. Scale gun, interceptor, nobody, teleport. I feel like that's not bad. How's it been trying to put together a team? I feel like you got a bunch of your players sniped. As usually happens in tier 2. You guys doing tryouts or do you have a full team already? I don't know, chat. What do we think? Is this solid util? I feel like this is not too bad. Oh. Yeah, you've got a few options. You can go teleport here, you can go teleport here, you can go teleport top. You want to be real aggressive. Bail out to ramp if you need to. I think that's kind of sick, to be honest. I see what you're saying. Yeah. We could try, like, if we sequence it like that. Let's see. Again, I'm just totally winging this lineup. I have no idea what the actual lineup is. You're saying one here, come out. Oh, throw that. The main problem with that teleport, the main problem with this teleport is it doesn't cover very much of sight. The thing about the teleport over here is that you could potentially play in a spot like this, right? You can actually play on site, whereas this one, the only real place that you can play is like flower box. Because otherwise you're just like in the open. Or I guess you could be like on an off angle here maybe, but it's not nearly as much coverage as you would want. But I do agree that this spot is pretty strong if you can get here sometimes. I think you could probably kind of switch it up. This is just the easiest one to use because it covers all of sight, so you can play in a lot of spots. Right? You can use this teleport however you want. Got your trips here for the early flood. Yeah. Yeah, true. I think it just gives you a bunch of options, honestly. Give you a month of trials. Damn. I mean, shout out to Naus. I feel like that org has been holding it down for the Philippines for a long time. You guys have a bunch of good players every year. A bunch of them get stolen by tier 1 teams. You build a new team that's also good. They get stolen by tier 1 teams. You build another team with good talent. It's funny. Such is the way of the tier 2 coach, right? Ooh. Okay. Now I'm curious. What happens if we land? How good is this? How good is this? 5 meters? 5 meters? 7 meters.
There.
5 meters.
There.
So that'll catch everybody. It's like not possible to get through this without triggering this. Shibong. Oh, hell yeah. Hold up. Hold up. For sure, dude. Stop by anytime. I'm very curious to see what you guys build. If you ever want to talk about players, hit me up. Wait, that's kind of based, actually. You gonna have trials tomorrow? Hell yeah, dude. Good luck. Good luck. There's definitely a fucking lineup for this, by the way. I don't know what it is, but you can for sure do this. Oh! Dude, I might be the best fucking lineup dude in the world. I might be the best fucking lineup guy in the world, to be honest. I don't know when you would use this, but there's gotta be some useful tech here. Like what? That's so good. They come out here to take an op line, it lands. Oh shit, what am I supposed to do? You try and dash out? Nope, you're seized. Good luck. Wait, hold on. Hold the fucking phone, guys. If this is the same lineup, can you one-way ramps? We are off on a tangent right now. I'm supposed to be making an A exec, but we are in the sauce right now. Is that good? Is that good or is that trolling? That might be good.
Poison's off. Poison orb emitting.
I mean, that might be good. No? I guess it really depends on the timing. It definitely depends on the timing.
Poison's off.
They can probably beat the timing if we're being real about it.
Poison orb emitting. Poison's off. orb emitting. Poison's off.
Yeah, it doesn't really block the early swing, which is unfortunate. Otherwise, I think it would be kind of nice.
Poison orb emitting. Poison's off.
Which teams in China and APAC did I blacklist? I have a list somewhere. Yeah, I have a list somewhere. I don't know off the top of my head. There were definitely a few Chinese teams, like tier 2 Chinese teams that were pretty useless to scrim. What I kind of did is like I would scrim a team for a bit, and then if we were just consistently owning them, then I would blacklist them because the practice was not good. So my list would change from time to time. It wasn't always the same.
Poison orb emitting.
Okay, sorry. Back to the execute. We're going Viper Orb here. We're going Harbor Wall Insta. Loop. Like this. Insta Harbor Wall. We're going Dog. We want a dog for the first? No, I think we need everybody to scale. So let's go Flash for the first angle. Double Satchel. Let's go Veto, Teleport. Chokehold. Ooh, do we want a chokehold here, actually? What's better? What do you think is better, guys? If we
Check your corners. Their success
if we
rides on our
chokehold,
carelessness.
do we want our lineup to land here and catch them as they try to flood from here, or do we want the chokehold to land here and catch them as they come out? I think maybe this is better. I think this is better because this will also catch somebody if they try to swing like this.
I need backup.
So this will catch two angles. It'll get here and here, I think. So it's maybe better than the Rafters one. And on Rafters, they're swinging through a harbor wall anyway, so they're probably going to get fucked. But yeah, maybe we boombot first, and then we just come out double satchel. Boombot here, tuck a sky flash here, and then the second flash can what, go into sight like back here maybe, something like that. Trip on ramps. Yeah, maybe so. Here, I'll show you the harbor wall that we're using first.
Sort out your gear quick. Time's more precious than a bullet.
We're just doing this. Right? Just off rip, throwing this wall. I don't think you can see over that. really hide in this. Probably throw it a little bit better. This.
Water rising.
Yeah, I mean, if we're using Viper Orb for here, we're definitely trying to hold sight. Which means we probably want to re-clear ramp. Because it doesn't really make sense to push through your own Viper Orb. So if we go... Oops. We go insta wall. Then Harbor comes up. Harbor becomes the ramp guy. I guess you could trip right here. They try to push down. They get seized. Yeah, so maybe...
Flooding vision. Rounding sight.
Once the wall comes down, you can come up here with the veto. Viper should go to site probably. Guy and Rays go to site. Veto and Harbor become your secondary guys here.
Flooding vision.
Clear this if you want. Whoa.
Rounding sight.
Clear this if you want. I don't think it's terrible. We're making a Harbor split playbook. We are. The Rays, yeah. Tuck the first flash. Rays is gonna boom bot. Boom. Double satchel. Pop. Pop. Viper orbs. Sky scales. Ooh. No, Sky's gonna have to help our Rays, right? And Veto's helping our Rays. Veto is gonna teleport here also. So we could like double satchel in like this. Veto teleports. And then Sky's secondary flash probably tucks behind here. Something like that. We could also just dog this as well. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that the timing of the wall will actually end up being perfect. I'm just trying to figure out who comes with the Harbor, because Harbor's going to be the ramp guy. So Harbor's going to throw the wall, then he's going to come up here, and then he's going to need 1 to 2 people to take ramps with. So I think that's probably going to be... It's probably going to be Sky and him together. And if we have dog, then I think it's great. If we have a flash, I think it's great. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, does it make more sense to just dog for the raise or to flash for the raise? I guess how far can we get a dog into sight? And if they break the dog, then you're kind of cooked, right? Whereas the flash, you can get them to turn.
Clean slate. Let's leave whatever happened in the past. Time to mobilize my pack.
So we dog here. How much of sight can we clear? We can clear quite a bit. As if we go fuck the first flash, second flash. We're out. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. Yeah, I think the raise does need the second flash. That's probably what it's going to be. And yeah, so I think you're gonna want to end up with. Let's see. This is one. Let's go to. Let's call it phase 2. And in phase 2, we're gonna have all this shit gone. Veto is gonna be on site. Raise is going to be somewhere, say, like behind maps. We're going to try and get the Viper, I think, into this spot makes the most sense. Harbor has a cove that he can use to help either Heaven. Probably going to have to contribute it to Heaven, I think. And then we've got our Sky and our Harbor here. I guess Veto is probably going to be playing like this. So we've got double facing Heaven. We've got Viper jiggling for screens. Obviously, this is assuming that everybody gets in. And then we've got the ramps refight / retake with Dog and or Harbor util. And then if they need extra help, Veto can teleport and join. I think this makes the most sense. Also, let's make sure that we can actually teleport here.
Find a use for every last credit. They won't go with us.
Okay, this is actually perfect because you can play this spot. You can play elbow, play this spot, and you can still come back to help ramps. I think that's good.
Ultimate ready.
Oops.
Can't plant the spike if we leave it here, people. We're so close I can taste it. Come on!
And then, yeah, I guess we can see. Is there... The problem is, if Harbor's starting in here, because... I mean, where else can we start for this wall? The problem is you kind of have to start in specific spots for the wall to make sense. Like, this is not good.
Now roll up the horizon.
What? Is there some, like...
Flooding vision.
No. And where would you even want this to land?
Flooding vision. Crowning sight. Crowning sight. Flooding vision. I need help. Flooding vision.
I just think it's going to be too slow, to be honest. This ability is not good for, like, long lineups.
Crowning sight. vision. Rounding sight. Rounding sight.
I really think it's best for stuff like this.
Flooding vision.
Like, how do you even get it to land on maps? You'd have to do some sort of like...
Flooding vision.
I feel like that's not very good.
Rounding sight. Rounding sight. Flooding vision.
If we can like hit it off an umbrella or something like that and make it do that, I could see some sort of value there. Can I throw it off the crown? That's not bad.
Rounding sight. Rounding sight. Flooding vision. Rounding sight. Flooding vision. Rounding sight. Rounding sight. Flooding vision.
Yeah, I mean,
I need help. Flooding vision. Rounding sight. Rounding sight. Flooding vision. Flooding vision.
how feasible is this with the wall though? I guess you don't have to do like the,
Water rising.
you could just do like an actual wall. It doesn't delay it too much. Or you could just do...
Walls up.
The problem is, I just like how fast this is, because it's just like...
Walls up. Rounding sight. Flooding vision.
I think it's going to be too slow is the problem.
Rounding sight. Rounding sight. Flooding vision. Rounding sight. Flooding vision.
It's also kind of pixel perfect to get it like
Flooding
this.
vision.
I don't know. Maybe. I feel like I feel like that's maybe something that you do. Maybe you do that if people are kind of like anting you, or after you've shown it once. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue. Phase 2, we're here, we're here, we're here. We'll say retake or fight for ramps, call veto if necessary, raise blaze site for rafters, viper jiggle slash molly smoke, okay, so we've got our A hit, we've got our A default. Bruh. A hit. Okay. Phase 1, phase 2. And then what? We want a... Let's do a attack B default. And with the B default, we're gonna do the Harbor Storm Surge, since we did this for our A default, so we can disguise. You want to hit where they might be playing anti-flash? Yeah, that's true. How much input do you think players IGL should have in the playbook development across teams? Do you take into account their preferred routings, utility, etc.? I mean, they should obviously be involved. Like, I think ideally you have players that bring you plays, because like they're the ones that are going to be executing the stuff. But the reality is that that doesn't happen very often. So you kind of need to like bring stuff. Basically, the whole thing is like, and obviously I have somewhat limited like knowledge of how everybody works, right? But from my perspective, the teams that I've been on, the coaches bring the stuff to practice. You try out the stuff and then you modify based off of how the players feel running it. So that's kind of why I'm like not super concerned about having like all the phases planned out, because I think there's like a tendency to try and over plan in this game, and the game is quite random at times. And I think it's almost always better just to teach your players to think on their feet and give them like a variety of tools to use to solve problems, as opposed to trying to plan out every single thing. Obviously, you do want to have tight utility and tight coordination at times, and that is very important. Like making sure your util timings on like a hit is really, really important. But then being like, well, trying to plan out like 6 different scenarios is just usually too much for players. And it's honestly kind of pointless, right? Like, yes, we can sort of game plan out the A hit if we lose the raise, if we lose the sky, if we lose the harbor. Like, we could have a totally different setup for every single one of these things happening. But in the moment, players are not going to think about those. Like, I can guarantee you that no player will be thinking like that. And so I think it's important to maybe game plan out some common scenarios, like losing your entry guy. Yeah, that's probably going to happen like 50% of the time, right? So if we don't have raise, how do we want to play our post plan? I think that's probably worth talking about and coming up with a plan for. And obviously stuff like, well, if we can't get screens control, if we can't get ramp control, if we can't get this control, where else should we play? That type of stuff is important. But I definitely think that a lot of the actual like development of your strats is going to happen when you bring stuff to the players, you try it out, they're like, this feels really shit. And you're like, okay, does it feel bad because we can't execute it correctly, or because it's actually just not a good idea? And if it's not a good idea, what do you think is the best way to do this? And then you put it in their hands, right? And that's like, okay, well, if you don't think that you can path this way as like the raise, or you don't like pathing this way, you'd rather just path to here and then sort of have like a second phase to the hit, then you can do that, right? And I think it's really important to ask those questions a lot of times, because a lot of times players won't even bring it up, right? They'll just be like, oh, coach told me to do this. And they'll try to do something that they don't like or that doesn't work for them. And so sometimes you need to just be like, hey, does this actually make sense to you? Like, do you have a place, like when you're playing ranked, where would you path if you're double satcheling? And if they're like, well, I always double satchel to here and I take this position and play this with like a judge or something like that. It's like, okay, well, let's integrate that into what we're doing. And that might require us to do something completely different with like the site. But it's hard to do any of that unless you start somewhere. And so I think a strat book is like, this is like a starting place to jump off. And then obviously you can expand on things as you practice and add in rounds that you might be missing and stuff like that. But essentially what most of my playbooks are going to look like, and I'll just show you one just so you guys can see, is like, let's look at Icebox, right? Actually, yeah, let's look at Icebox. We've got pistol, eco, anti, bonus, A default, B default, mid default, sub alt round, right? And we obviously had more stuff than this as well. And we had variations on this stuff. But like this is like the initial stuff that I bring to the team, right? Pistol, equal, anti, bonus, B denial, mid control, 401, chamber A, standard defense, right? So we've got like 7 or 8 different starting points, and then we can kind of expand on that and add stuff in and change things around, add in an alt here, that type of stuff. But again, like it's very hard to go anywhere if you don't start somewhere. So that's sort of just my general take on building out comps and shit. Okay, so we'll storm surge here. We still have our Viper wall over here. We're doing a B default. And if we're doing a B default, we want orb control. We want the option to insta-hit if we get a kill or if we think we have a weak site. We want the option to pull back into middle or rotate over to A. So I think in this case, we're probably going to do... What? Do we want to do... Viper orb? Yeah, and I mean, it's also totally going to depend on your team, Snuggy. Like, some players are much more engaged strategically than others, and teams are going to be totally variable. Like, for example, one of the collegiate teams that I've worked with, there's been versions of the team where nobody would make strats. Then there's also been versions of the team where like the players are actively in control of like the strat book, and I don't even bother making strats for them. And it's literally just like, well, I'll just watch them play and be like, well, what if we modify this a little bit here, right? Like they're coming up with all the stuff, and then I'm maybe suggesting some little tweaks here or there, or being like, hey, this would be a good opportunity to maybe like add one extra layer to this. But then there's other teams where it's like, if I don't bring anything, then there will be 0 strats, right? And so it's kind of up to like the team. What team are you on? How much do they want to do? How much do you have to do as a result? That type of thing. From the way that you're talking about stuff, like it seems like you have like a pretty good understanding of a lot of like the general concepts that are important to like building out a strat and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't get too caught in like all of the little granular details of a strat because a lot of the times that stuff is like very unimportant in like the heat of the moment. And it might be fine for you to like have that in the back of your mind and like take notes on it, but a lot of the time simplifying things for the players is the best option. And honestly, like what's that saying? There's some sort of some saying about how like simple is actually like the most artistic form of like a concept, because it takes like real skill to make something that could be really complex simple and effective. And I think that type of skill is like really valuable as a coach. You know, it's very easy to like call a timeout, for example, and be like, well, okay, this is what they're doing, and I need you guys to do this, and then I need you guys to do this, and then if they do this, then you need to do this, and then if they do that, then you need to do this, and this, and then there's like 15-20 different thoughts that you can give the team, and that's probably going to be too much. They're probably not going to take very much out of that timeout. And so if you can distill the core essence of what you're trying to communicate into like 1 or 2 simple thoughts, like we must do this, and to be able to do that, you have to do this, right? Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, if you're asking people to be thinking like 4 steps ahead when they can't even do the first execute, then what's the point, right? If they can't even get onto the site, then why do I care about phase 3 of the round? It's like too far in the future to even be relevant, because we're never going to get there. So do the early stuff first, and then you can change and expand on things once people have mastered the basics, for sure. Okay. Just as an overview, what do I think South Asia lacks, which makes them so underwhelming, but also as players have potential, but they're not able to make the most of it? I assume you're talking about like India, Bangladesh players. I think the biggest problem with South Asia, there's two main problems with South Asia. Speaking about like the Indian scene specifically, is that number one, the ping is really bad to good competition, and so the level of practice that you get and the teams that you're playing against are always going to be lower quality, which means that you grow slower and you don't get exposed to as many good ideas and you don't get challenged as much. So that's number one, and that's very hard to overcome, right? Just the sheer fact that like if you want to scrim against Korean teams, you're going to be on like 120 ping, which means that they're not going to scrim you. Maybe not 120, but they're going to be on like high ping. So that's number one. And then number two, I just think that there's sort of like maybe a little bit of a laissez-faire attitude about esports still, where it's not really seen as sort of like a serious thing that you can do with your life, and you're much more likely to be encouraged to go, you know, do a standard job, work in finance, become a doctor, lawyer, that type of thing. And like the idea of like being a gamer as a career is like, nah, not gonna happen, right? And so there's and also to that end, I know like the tech stack and like the access to good internet, good PCs is lower in Southeast Asia. So it's kind of just like the general culture around esports is not great. And then also for the people that are in it and are passionate about it, their ability to actually compete and be exposed to better teams is much lower, which means that it's very hard to get better quickly. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about our B default. So we're going to do the same open as the A default. It's going to be Harbor here. I think we're going to continue to bring the Veto with the pack. I really like the idea of the Veto being with the pack and placing Interceptor to counter util if they want to refight. The thing though, maybe not here. Maybe we just keep the Veto here and we can put our crosscut in the same spot. And this gives us the option to maybe lurk with the Viper if we want to, or we can come out and control middle. I think I like that instead, actually. And we'll do raise, sky, like this. So, boom, double scale. Let's put our Harbor on the line. Raise will come out. Sky will play anti and pop off the raise like this. Do we want to use a smoke insta? I don't think so. I think we'll hold our smoke. Veto is just going to hold the walk down. And actually, maybe Veto will throw his teleport across. Just so he has the option to teleport over here and join. And then Viper can be the late lurk. I think that's probably what we want to do. You've been a player for a few years and now transitioned as an IGL, so I've been watching a lot of my videos and streams. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm always happy to like answer any questions. I do love talking about player development and getting better at the game. So, okay, so we get in here, then we have options. We have the ability to insta hit. We can do this. We can scale out with a dog. We can go for a plant. That can work. We also have the ability to do this, where we can do more of like a full-on exec if we want control of the site. That should be a good smoke, I think. Yeah. There's a pocket there that we have to be careful of, so maybe we can do this a little bit better. Do like that.
Flooding vision.
Hit that guy. Yeah, I mean, you might be correct. It might be better, actually, to do this. Pre-round teleport here. Interceptor this. Eat the Sky Flash or Prowler. If possible, maybe trip aggressively. Like this. Viper holds the walk. But the problem is, I kind of want this orb. That's the thing, though, is I kind of want this orb. Because, like, that's sort of the whole point. If they can just clear A by just looking down ramp, then I think it's maybe not good. I guess we don't really need 2 people B. We could just have Viper veto A. Yeah, this trip. Ooh, actually, I bet you can land one here. You can definitely land one here. Let's see if we can find this lineup real quick.
Aim for their heads. They might be organ donors.
Well, I mean, like I said, RVK, if you have questions, just ask.
Take control.
I'm not sure what you're looking for, but if you have questions, just feel free to ask and I'll answer them.
There. There.
You're looking to rebuild yourself as a player? I mean, what does that mean? Again, I'm not really sure what your question is. You're asking for wisdom, but I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that. Like, if you're looking to become a good IGL, you need to watch a lot of VODs. If you're trying to become a top tier player, you need to have a system of how to get better. Do you have like a good routine? Do you have like a consistent way to study the game and improve yourself? You have a good support system around you. Like, are you playing a lot? I don't know anything about you, so I have no idea what I'm supposed to tell you. Ah, you're becoming an IGL. I see. Well, yeah, man. I mean, to be an IGL, being an IGL is a lot more than just like having a good read on the game individually. Like, you have to be able to inspire people to follow your vision of the game, and you also need to be very good at communicating how and particularly why you want people to do specific things. If you can't make people understand why you want them to do something, then they will never do it. And so it's really important for you to like spend a lot of time on your communication skills. Obviously, you have to be able to shoot too, but you definitely need to be able to like make people understand.
There.
Again, like the why. Why should somebody want to listen to you as a leader? And a lot of that's going to come from just like having a super good work ethic, understanding the game super well, which is again going to require a lot of VOD review, lots of studying of the game. My biggest issue with Veto is the awkwardness of the TPs. They're too slow to use aggressively, and requiring to look at the teleport makes them too vulnerable to dying as an anchor to dive. Yeah. Are you TSM 7? Even if you're not. I definitely think that Veto's teleports, it's better to think about his teleports as like an Omen teleport. Because they're not as useful as chamber teleports, and they never will be. And you know, Omen teleports, obviously you can use them kind of aggressively, but they're not like the best for being aggressive, right? So I think they're better for doing stuff like this. I think they're better for doing stuff like this, right? As part of our default, we want to take control of this area. So maybe we put a teleport here, or maybe we don't use this teleport at all. But I want to cross. Okay. Right. I can still get here. It's not great. It's not as like fast as the Omen teleport. You can maybe be punished for it. But you can still do stuff like that. And like, let's say that we've totally cleared backsite somehow. Oops. Let's say we've totally cleared backsite with like a dog, but you're worried about the heaven line, then you can use it to like traverse a gap. And you can use it to reposition or give yourself another option. But you're definitely not using it aggressively. Like there's no way to use them aggressively. Even if I watch a lot of VODs, I'll have your own perspective or my understanding right. So is that enough to constantly learn and develop? I mean, yeah, like always be looking out for other people's perspective. You know, like if you really want to lead people as an IGL, I would definitely recommend just like finding some people that want to study the game and try to study the game together. And like really kind of go deep on discussing about why you think things are good or why you think things are bad. If you could fake teleport like an Omen, yeah, I mean, true. One thing that you can do, you could definitely use it to scout, right? You can do stuff like this. Although, I mean, that's still pretty fucking shit, I'm not gonna lie. That's definitely not very good. What the fuck, bro? This might take some practice. Oh, Jesus. That is really awkward, bro. Yeah, but I really think they're basically just like a repositional tool. On defense specifically, like, the way that I would do stuff with him on defense is like this. So like pre-round, set this up here. Let's say I'm opping. This is like a setup that I think I would use here a lot, actually. So I've got my teleport here. I'm playing on this line like this. And then I might do like a rafters teleport or something like that. And we'll go like this. Take first contact. Fall off. Teleport out. Repeat from here. Something like that. You could also do like if you wanted to go for some stupid crazy play, you could do something like this. Where again, you play up here, you recall your teleport, you take your initial contact, you fall off, you peek from here, you've got the bailout teleport to here if you want to. But if they're like util dumping and you think you can make the play, then you can go take this teleport. Or if your team like paranoias them or something like that. But yeah, it definitely takes like, the thing about vetoes, I think it takes like quite a bit of creativity to get the most out of his kit. You could do it. Oh. Been in the server for too long. Okay, I keep getting distracted. Let me do this B default real quick. Okay, we go here. We get B control. We can deposit somebody. Who do we deposit? Again, I kind of want to deposit the veto. That's the problem. Okay, let's think about this. Who is normally playing B? It's either going to be... It's either going to be... It's either going to be an aggro fight double duelist. It's going to be a Cypher with Cam and Trip. I mean, you might have to just like totally change your game plan depending on what you're playing against, to be honest. Because I think if you're playing against double duelist, you probably want this to be veto. If you're playing against Cypher, I mean, even then maybe you want it to be veto. Because I think the thing is, if we want to hit B, then we want the veto there. Because we want the veto to eat utilities you come through here, I think. And potentially teleport with the team. And again, actually...
ult is ready. Denial active.
Kind of like the Omen teleport stuff.
Watcher expired.
Teleporting here. Can you get this? You can get this on the other side of that, but teleporting here is probably not very good. Not the worst thing, but it's probably not very good. Yeah. Do the old Vision Strikers, the glow entry. You could do that. Put the cove here. They can't spam you. Wait.
Ultimate ready. Your
Wait a
mind is
second.
just as dangerous as your weapon. Use it.
Hold
Try not to
on.
get shot.
Hold the fucking phone, bro.
Don't set. Adding shield.
There's not very much room for them to spam you. Not terrible.
Don't place. Blocking fire.
I mean, that's unspammable, right? Basically, just totally blocks all the spam from heaven. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come out like this. You're gonna go
Water rising.
this. Gonna come out here, place that smoke.
Adding shield.
Everybody scales. Scales, scales, scales. Veto double teleports. I mean, that's not bad. I don't hate that. Alright, yeah. Vito's coming with the pack. I don't care what you guys have to say. Fuck you. Maybe this guy just goes here then.
Water rising.
Yeah, so he starts out here.
Rounding sight.
Boom. Okay, cool. Come over here. Look for the walk down. Okay, we're ready to go, team. Let's go. Nice, good exec. You can come late, you can reroute middle. Obviously, if you have your ult, you just go with your ult. Okay. Okay. So, Veto comes here. Maybe, honestly, maybe Veto starts here. He interceptors. I guess he doesn't even really have to do anything. He can just hold the interceptor. Because this is a B default. B default, we're taking B control. Good. Nice job. We took B control. Okay. Phase 2 of this is Veto comes over here. Or depends. Okay. This is aggro option. We're just going to go ahead and hit B site. Cool. Veto comes over here. Raise. Gonna satchel out. We're gonna go harbor wall. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Like this. We're going to cove like this. Veto is going to teleport into there. Into there. Raise is going to double satchel, or single satchel rather, out. And then we collapse on backside together. Cool. Save that. Option 3, if we go back to this, gonna be, where are we at? Harbor's here. Veto's in middle. Harbor's gonna be here. Guy's gonna be here. Raise is gonna come back. We are going to cove this. Veto is going to interceptor out with a sky flash. Boom. Raise is going to take space. And what? Where's Veto's teleport going to be? Guess we could leave a teleport right here. Because then he can come up here. Yeah, we'll do this. Interceptor, flash, Raise takes the line. Guy and Raise scale up together. And this is the mid re-clear. And then from here, we can either come back into the harbor site, or we can go into the Viper. I guess it's going to depend. If you think they're going to re-clear B, you can swap, say, switch, Veto, and Harbor pose if defenders are re-clearing B a lot. I think is probably the best way to do this. I think you're probably trying to keep Veto with the pack if possible. But then the main problem with the harbor here is, like, what is your fucking smoke? If you're trying to split B, what is your smoke? I guess you could also invest the harbor wall here. Like, if you really want to re-clear mid, you could, like, blup, blup, blup. Something like that. I mean, it's probably shit, but something like that, maybe. What about like...
Rising.
Well, that doesn't block anything. Guess you could do something like that, maybe.
Rising.
Not the worst thing in the world. And your rays can just nade here, maybe.
Flooding vision.
Rays can nade there.
Flooding
Again, you
vision.
can always do this. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Walls up. Walls up. Water rising. Water rising. Rounding sight. Rounding sight.
Yeah, it probably does make more sense to deposit the veto. I think I agree with you. I think I agree. And then this guy can kind of just like late peek B. Yeah. I guess one of the problems we have too many pack agents. We have too many agents that want to be with the pack. But I guess the veto being the anti-reclear is kind of nice, because then you could also condition this too, where if you do this a couple of times and then you just place the interceptor and leave, then they'll often think that, well, there's a fucking veto here. I don't know how to reclear this. I guess we just leave it, right? So it probably is higher value to condition that we are being 100% real about it. I know you want the Astra. I know it might be better with the Astra. I know. I know. But Just wait till we get to the Harbor alt rounds. Because once we get Harbor alt rounds, it's fucking GG for the other team. Because Harbor alt is a beating. We just go, Kerpow, the whole site is ours. Kerpow, the whole site is ours. And then it's like, well, free round win. Fighting. Okay. Like I said, we've got our 3 different potential options. Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's clear everything. Let's make a new one. Attack. B hit. Our B hit, we're going Poison Cloud. Ooh, do we want Poison Cloud here? We want Poison Cloud here? Probably here. I guess we could just do our whole fucking toxic screen shit here too. Oh, no. I guess we kind of need this to be... Actually, let me think about this. To not give it away, we probably have to do our wall at A. We wall at A, but then we come out here. Is there a way to throw a Viper lineup? No, there's no fucking chance. There's no way. Maybe just throw the Chronicle lineup then. Is what? I don't remember. What is the Chronicle lineup? There's something over here. Not quite. Something like that. And then Viper just comes B. Alright, my game just crashed. Alright. Well, maybe that's a sign. My brain is kind of cooked right now, guys. I am gonna take off, I think. Hopefully that was sort of interesting and informative. Maybe we'll continue this on another stream later. This is just generally kind of how I like build out a playbook. Just run around in server, play with Valve Plant, go back and forth, try out different agents, see how the utility interacts with each other, that type of stuff, and then just come up with some ideas, bring them to the team, try stuff out in practice, take what's good, modify it if it looks okay but not quite there, throw it out if it's bad, make more stuff, slowly develop things over time, add in some alt rounds, add in some pistol rounds, add in some set stuff, add in some ecos, some anti-ecos, that type of thing. And then you end up with, you know, like 20, 30 different Valve Plant things. And then that becomes sort of like the basis from which you play the game. Yeah, make 4 plays in 2 hours. I mean, the thing is, like, obviously, it's a little bit harder when you're working with an agent that nobody has shown anything with, right? There's literally 0 harbor comps on this map, and there's 0 veto comps on this map. So we're making everything completely from scratch. It'd be much easier if I could just grab, you know, oh, this Cypher breach cam setup. Oh, this Cypher breach cam setup, etc., etc. But yeah, I'm going to take off, go eat some lunch, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate the good questions. Hopefully you guys learned something. And